DV lottery for 2024, then listen up because you want to make sure that you actually get the visa. There are 54,800 visas available, and there are 143,000 lottery winners. So what does that mean? It means that if you do not get your application in correctly and on time, you may miss out on actually getting a visa or green card. So that's what we're going to discuss today, how you can make sure that you do not miss out on actually getting your visa, because winning the lottery is only step one, okay? The most important step is actually applying for the visa so that you can get your green card, right? Because what's the point of winning the lottery if you do not get the visa, okay? Your whole purpose is to come to the US. So make sure that you follow these steps and don't miss out on applying for your visa. Now, let's talk about this whole 54,800 visas being available. So each visa category, which DV lottery is its own visa category, has a number of visas available that were assigned by Congress. So each type of visa has its own visa numbers, right? They can only issue 54,800 visas under the DV lottery program for 2024. So if you miss the opportunity to apply for it, it goes away. Okay. So there's 143,000 winners out there. Okay. 143,000 winners of the lottery and only 54,800 visas available. So that's why it's so important. And I wanted to make this video because guess what? The visa process, being able to actually apply for a visa, starts next month in October. So I wanted to get this video out to you now in September so that you can prepare yourself for the actual visa application starting in October. Okay. So let's get started. One, you need to make sure that you go in and check your to check if you won, and then you should be receiving a letter or an email saying what your number is. Okay. So if you see a case number, usually it's the last few numbers after the 000. That's what you need to pay attention to because that's what's going to tell you when you can actually put in your application. Because guess what? Just because you won, just because you can start, DV lottery winners for 2024 can start applying for the visas next month may not mean that you specifically, that one, can apply, right? So the way it works is depending on the continent or the country, sometimes it's broken down by country. They give a number, right? So let's say it says 10,000, right? So if your number is less than 10,000, that means you can apply for the visa. If your number is more than 10,000, then you have to wait to hopefully the next month where it goes higher than 10,000. And I will show you exactly where to go to find this out. So, first thing first, you need to have that letter saying that you won that has the number so that you can figure out when you can actually apply. If you are in the US and your number comes up, you can go ahead and apply for a green card in the US if you are in valid status. So that means if you are here on a student visa, if you are here, on the B1, B2 visa, when your number comes up, you can go ahead and apply for the lottery because you are in valid status. If you're out of status, that's a different situation. But if you're in valid status in the US and your number comes up, you can apply for a green card. So that's the I-485 right here in the US. Okay. If you are outside of the US, once your number comes up, you need to start the DS-260 process. Okay. That's what you have to do. That's the simplification of what you have to do. But just keep in mind, you need to be prepared. Okay. You have to pay for the visa application. Whether you're inside or outside of the US, you have to pay for the visa. So make sure you have your money ready to go. If you're bringing your family, make sure everyone has their passports. Make sure everyone has their passports. Make sure you have all your supporting documents. So let's say, for example, you're applying with your child. So you won the lottery, you want your child to come with you. Make sure you have your child's birth certificate ready to go. Make sure you have their passports ready to go. This is the most expensive part of the DV lottery process because guess what? The entering the lottery is free. Winning is free, but the visa application to actually then come to the US, that's not free. Okay, that's where you have to spend money. So if you don't already have a passport and you are a winner for DV 2024, go get your passport. Okay, because once your number comes up, you want to start moving. You don't want to wait because waiting means you may be out of luck. All right. So remember, again, there's 54,800 visas available and 143,000 winners. So you want to make sure that as soon as your number comes up, you are ready to file. Okay? So I'm going to show you where to check if your number came up, because that's the important thing here. Because not only do you want to have all your things together, you want to have the money and your passport and all your supporting documents. Remember, also, you're going to have to do a medical exam. Those cost money too. All right. So if you're coming with your entire family, so let's say you won and you want to come with your wife and kids, each each person, right? Each person coming with you needs to have their own passport, to have their own medical exam, and in some situations, because you're an adult, you're going to need the police certificate. Those are all expenses that you need to start preparing for now, okay, so that you're not surprised. If you do not have, a copy of your marriage certificate and you want to come with your wife, make sure you go ahead and get that ready to go, okay? When you're not prepared for the interview, the officer cannot approve your case, all right? And what's the point if your case is not approved? Okay. So you want to make sure that your case can be approved at that first interview. At the very first interview, you want to make sure that the office can look at it and just go ahead and approve it without needing more. Because when they need more, that means delays. And then delays can mean you're out of luck because you've issued all 54,800 visas. Okay. So some of you may be wondering why would they let 143,000 people win the lottery and only have 54,800 visas available? That's because they know they know people are going to mess up on their application, right? Some people may not have the money to actually go through the full visa process. Like I said, it can get expensive depending on the family members that are going with you and your financial ability to pay for a medical, a police certificate, a passport if you don't already have one, right? They know that some people, by the time it gets to their number, they may have already issued all the visas that they have available to them. So even though there's 143,000 people, that doesn't mean that all of those people are going to apply on time, are going to have the resources to complete the application process, are going to pass the background checks. All right. Because again, part of the process is a full background check to make sure that you are someone that can legally come to the US. And also, something that matters to USCIS and the embassy is if they are having that many people win and having fewer visas, it just means that the people that move quickly, the people that are more prepared, the people that are, able to get everything to the embassy quickly are the ones that are going to get it. Okay. If you're in the US, as soon as you qualify, apply for your green card. Okay. I've had people wait last minute, and we had to basically beg USCIS to move quickly with their applications because, again, you also, not even again, also, not only is there a visa limit, there's also a time limit. You have until September 2024 to get your visa or your green card. All right. So not only do you have to wait for your number to come up, not only is there a limited amount of visas available and a lot of winners, you also have to make sure that you get an interview at your embassy or USCIS office and you get your visa approved before September 30th, 2024. So that's why I say once you win, once you know that your number is up, you need to be ready to go immediately. For my clients that are in the US that are wanting to do the green card application in the US because they're in valid status, we start, right? We start the process of the forms, the documents, everything ready to go so that once their number comes up, we're sending in their application immediately. There's no delay. So this last cycle, we had everything ready to go. So the day their number came up on that first day of the month, it was already sent out because we want to make sure that they do not miss their opportunity to have their visa approved, to have their green card in hand. All right. So let's talk about how you actually find out what your number is. All right. US Department of State, on their website, they have visa bulletins. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, if you scroll all the way down, so let's start from the beginning, right? This is the September 2023 visa bulletin. You want to go all the way down until you get to the DV section. Okay. So do not look at the DV section for September because that's still for people that won for DV 2023. Okay. You want to go to the October, right? The October section because that's for people that won for DV 2024. Because remember, I said as of October 1st, anyone that their number has come up can put in their application. Okay. So this is the people that can put in their application starting October 1st. If your number, if you're in Africa and your number is 10,000 or under, right? So let's say your number is 9,000. You can apply for your visa, for your green card as of October 1st, 2023. There are exceptions, right? So over here are the exceptions. If you're in Algeria, it's 7,500. If you're in Egypt, it's 5,500. And if you're in Morocco, it's 5,600. So keep that in mind. So when you're looking at these, pay attention to your number. Every single month, the State Department releases new numbers. So this is for October. When the October visa bulletin comes out, they will have for November. So you can prepare ahead of time. That's the good thing about this, right? If you know you won and you come here and you see that your number, let's say you're in Asia and your number is 1,000. Guess what? You need to start preparing for your visa application because you know that as of October 1st, you can start the process. So instead of waiting for, that month to start, instead of waiting till October to get this information, the US Department of State is giving you the information ahead of time so that you can be prepared. so that you can start the process. And I'm giving you this information ahead of time so that you know where to go to get this information, that you know that there's a limited amount of visas available and a lot of lottery winners. So don't wait. Do not wait. So if you are a winner and your number is showing up on here, right? You're under 4,500 in Europe, you're under two, two or one in North America, so Bahamas, Oceania under 225, South America and the Caribbean under 375. If you know that you are in one of these categories and that you are going to be able to apply as of October 1st, you need to start taking action today. Okay, do not wait, because that's usually where people, end up losing out. So I've had someone reach out to me for DV 2022 because they happened when it was announced that people were winning the lottery. They were not in a position where they had the ability to check the results. And when they finally were able to check the results, it was already too late, right? It was already September, right? So they're not able to apply anymore. So you don't want to be one of those people. So if you're watching this and you know you're a winner, pay attention. And I will most likely be telling you about the visa bulletin every single month so that you know when your number is up, right? When you can actually start applying. All right. So that is how you check if your number is up and if you can start applying for the lottery. It's really important that if after winning your lottery you get married, that you tell USCIS, that you tell the US Embassy that you are married. Okay. Being married will not reduce your chances of getting the visa. Lying about being married will kill 100% kill your chances of getting the visa. Okay. Let me say that again. Being married and not disclosing that you're married will kill your chances of getting the visa if you don't disclose it and and the embassy finds out. All right. So if after you got your, after you entered the lottery, you kept living your life and you ended up getting married or having a child, this is the time to add them so that they can come with you. Okay. It's not going to reduce your chances of winning, of getting your visa. All right. Because, just because you got married doesn't mean that you're not going to get your visa. So please include children that were born after you entered the lottery and any marriage after you entered the lottery so that, guess what, they can come with you. That's a great thing, right? So even though you got married after you entered the lottery, your spouse can still come with you. So that's why I say when you're filling out that DS-260, when you're going to your interview, that you are disclosing this information so that the embassy can issue a visa not just to you, but to your now spouse and your new child. All right. So that's why it matters. And that's one of the reasons people get denied. That's one of the reasons people get denied is that they get to the interview and they never disclose that they had a wife and kids. They entered the lottery on their own. They didn't include their spouse, they didn't include their children, and then they get to the interview. Now they're including their, spouse and children. You are automatically disqualified from getting a visa. So if you lied, right? If you lied at any point in the process, when you filed to enter the lottery, when you filed to get the visa, you are automatically disqualified. So what typically happens is people will come to the US and they want to file, now they want to file for their children that they never disclosed, or their spouse that they never disclosed. And it's an uphill battle because now USCIS may try to take away the green card that you just got. So do yourself a favor. If you got married after entering the lottery, if you had a child after entering the lottery, put them, okay? Put them there. For the visa lottery, you do not need a sponsor. Let me make that clear as well. So the DV lottery is one of the only types of visas where you do not need a sponsor in order to actually get the visa and come to the US. So do not freak out if you think you need a sponsor. You don't. Okay, you just need to meet all the other requirements. But as far as a sponsor, those are typically for family-based visas, not really for DV lottery. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions for me, put them in the comments. I will be answering them now. I just wanted to get through the section and giving you the information for those that just want that information about the DV lottery. I am going to go ahead and start answering questions in the comments. So please, if you're here and you have questions, put them in the comments. I am more than happy to answer them. So let's see. So let's do this one. Can I file I-130 with my expired passport, but my visa is valid? Yes. So if you are, I'm guessing this is for someone in the US. Yes. Yes is the answer. So you typically do not need a valid passport to apply for an I-130. So I hope that answers your question. So let's see. The next question I have here. Must one have a sponsor? Can I not sponsor myself? If you are filing under the DV lottery, you do not need a sponsor. Okay. If you're under the DV lottery, you do not need a sponsor. If you are family based, let's say your spouse is filing for you, your parent, your child, you're going to need a sponsor. You're going to need an affidavit of support. And your income will only count if you are legally allowed to work in the US. So if you're in the US and you're going through a green card process and you want to include your income as a household member of the family member that's filing for you, you can include your income only if you are legally allowed to work in the US. So, for example, if you have TPS in the US with a work authorization, you can use the income you have to sponsor yourself, but to add to the one of your family member. Okay. Do I need a passport to apply this year? So are you, let me make sure I understand, Arikan. Are you asking if you want to enter the lottery? Right. So if you want to enter the lottery, no. If you want to get the visa, yes. Okay. So if you're applying for a visa to the US, you must have a valid passport. And not only must you have a valid passport, the passport must have at least 6 months left on it. Okay. So let's say you have your interview next week. Your passport must have at least 6 months left on it for next week. All right. So even though it's not expired, that's not really what they're looking at, right? They're looking at when does it expire. So when you're coming in from an embassy, must have a valid passport with at least 6 months left on it. If you are applying for a green card in the US, having an unexpired passport is not as important. Okay. Do we have any other questions? I am more, like I said, I am more than happy to answer them. Um, and just for the people that are joining, let's do a quick recap, right? One, if you won the DV 2024 lottery, you need to pay attention to the Visa Bulletin because they already put out the Visa Bulletin for the DV lottery for October. So, and everyone that won for the 2024 lottery can technically start applying in October. However, there's only, you have to make sure that your number came up, and the only way to do that is to look at the Visa Bulletin, and the numbers for October has come up. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that to see if your number has come up and if you can start applying for your visa or your green card if you have legal status in the US. Now, if you are wondering, how quickly should I start? Maybe I'm not ready right now. My number has come up, but I can wait a month or two. Don't. Okay. Do not wait because there's only 54,800 visas available and 143,000 lottery winners. Okay. So if you want to make sure that you are part of the 54,800 that get their visa and eventually get their green card once they enter the US, apply as soon as your number comes up. Okay. All right. How can I get a joint bank account with my spouse without a social security number? Well, so it's up to the bank, right? If a bank allows you to, then you can. If they don't, then you can't. All right. I believe Bank of America and Chase, I want to say, are one of the banks that may allow you to open a bank account without a social security number. But most banks require a social security number. If you're trying to open a joint bank account to prove your relationship, just know USCIS knows that most people cannot get a joint bank account because they don't have a social. So they're not going to hold it against you. Now, once you get your social, they expect you to now be able to get those accounts together. But in the initial filing, if you do not have a social, they understand. You just have to have other documentation of your relationship. But as far as getting a joint account without a social, you need to reach out to the banks and find out which ones would allow you to open an account without a social. There are a few, so you just have to do the research there. Okay. All right. If anyone else has a question, please feel free to put them in the comments. Um, and if you have found this helpful, right? If you are getting something out of this video, please go ahead and like the video, and also share it with someone that either wants to get a visa through the visa lottery, or they won the lottery and they don't know what the next steps are. Share this video with them. Let them know that they need to move quickly once their number comes up, because they may miss out and be out of the 54,800, right? They may miss out on that, but you can share this video with them and make sure that they do not miss out, because that's the worst. Honestly, that is the worst, to know that you won and that you only missed your chance of getting the visa because you didn't know what the steps were, or you didn't know what you're supposed to do next. You didn't have the right documents. That is the worst. So let's share the information. Let's make sure people know that when you win, you need to pay attention to the visa bulletin. And you need to start paying attention to the visa bulletin starting this month, because they already put the information out there for October. And by before the end of this month, they will put the information out for November. So I will be telling you. I will be keeping you updated on those, okay? but you definitely want to make sure that you are paying attention as well. Okay. Um, and if you want my help to help you with the process, or if you have questions, and you want to schedule a strategy session with me, you can do that by going to my website, lilylegal.com, or by calling my office at 508-443-1788. Um, and if you want more information about how to enter the lottery, I have a video on my channel that will walk you through how to enter the lottery. It was for DV 2024, but I will be doing a new one probably next week on DV 2025, so that you know what the updates are, where you need to go, and all that information. All right. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your